in which they're exposed is ineffective, but because they are forced to change effective systems every 2 to 3 months. Pick a system, stay with the company you're with, and teach your people not to mess with any other systems until they are at the income level they want. That's the end of the article. I tell you what, I read that 15 years ago, and it fired me up, and it fires me up just as much today because, again, TLC is the first company in the history of this industry ever to put together a unified, duplicatable system that is congruent and works together with the compensation plan. You cannot go to the next level until you finish the assignments at each level and until you advance in the comp plan. That's what we're putting together for you guys. And again, I know a lot of you are brand new and maybe you don't really follow totally what I'm saying. If you've been around this industry any time at all, you do. But if you haven't, you probably don't really follow. So I'm just asking you, give us the benefit of the doubt. Because if you'll give us the benefit of the doubt, give us a year, it'll change your life. I promise. And that's what we're putting together here for you, is a very systematic, step-by-step, do this, complete this, learn this, master this, go to the marketplace, produce results, and then we'll teach you the next level. And some people say, well, Dale, I want to learn how to do it on the internet. You will. You will. Somebody's saying, well, Dale, I want to learn just how to create prospects with Facebook and social media. You will. Twitter, yeah, you will. We're going to get to all that. We'll teach you everything that we've learned in the last 30 years. But it's going to be sequential, and it's going to build one concept upon the next concept upon the next concept. And when you graduate TLC University, you will be a very well-rounded marketer and will have the skill sets where you can become successful in any marketing endeavor that you take on. That's what we're putting together. And again, it's never been done before. So how are you going to learn? What do you need to do? What's expected of you? Well, as human beings, we learn two ways. Number one is through repetition. Number two is through emotion. That's how we learn. If I say 2 all beef patty special sauce, what am I talking about? McDonald's, right? The Big Mac. If I say I shot, some of you might not be old enough to remember that, but if I say I shot, some of you are thinking the sheriff. And then some of you thinking JR. No, that's who shot JR. If I say I can't believe I ate the whole thing, what am I talking about? Alka-Seltzer. Old Wendy's commercial said, where's the, some of you are thinking beef. If I say I'd walk a mile for a, some of you are as old as I am because you can remember that from your childhood, I'd walk a mile for a camel. See, my point is, ladies and gentlemen, that you have in your mind programmed phrases, songs, slogans that will go with you for the rest of your life. If I said, don't break my heart, my, what, achy breaky heart, right? That's a song that you get in your head and you can't get out. But we could talk about numerous songs. We could talk about, you know, how many times have you been driving down the road and a song comes on you haven't heard in 15 years and you know every single beat, every single word. You even have flashbacks to some time and place in your past when that song was playing. See, we're all programmed. The media programs us daily through repetition. Repetition, that's the key to learning. Repetition is the mother of learning. So how are you going to learn the scripts and the concepts and the ideas and everything that we're going to be sharing with you through this university? Well, the thing we're doing is we're not giving it all to you at once. You know, you complete each university at its own pace, at its own, on your own schedule. But by having everything on CD, repetition's the key to learning. You can turn your automobile into a university because repetition is the key to learning. So that's how you're going to learn most of the information that we share with you. You learn it, and see, it's not learning it, it's then taking it to the marketplace and mastering it through using the information that we're going to be sharing with you. So repetition is the first way. The second way is through emotion. It's how we learn as human beings. If I ask you, some of you are old enough to remember what you were doing the day that John F. Kennedy was shot. Some of you remember that day. That was my earliest childhood memory. I can remember that. I can remember my mom picking me up and at some neighbor's house and just crying, and everybody was upset and watching the TV that night, and I can remember that. Some of you remember where you were the day you heard that Princess Di had died or had been in a critical car accident. Some of you remember the day the Twin Towers, the Twin Towers, that day, what you were doing, who you were with. If I ask you what you were doing last year, January 25th, most of you cannot answer that question. And when I do this in live seminars, I say, how many of you remember what you were doing last year, January 25th? Now, when I ask the other questions, half the room's hands go up. They remember Twin Towers, Lady Di, John F. Kennedy. January 25th, there's only maybe one, sometimes two people that raise their hand. And when I say, well, why do you remember? And they'll say, well, it was my mom's birthday or it was my birthday. And so what? It was an emotional time for them. See, there was an emotion attached to that date. That's why they remembered. Now, I remember January 25th for the last several years because that's my birthday. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, as human beings, we learn two ways, repetition and emotion. As we go through these CDs, there's going to be very, very few things that hit you emotionally. There'll be a couple things here and there along the path, but not very many. So you're going to have to rely on repetition. I tell people you need to listen to these CDs till you can't stand to hear my voice and until you know what's coming out of my mouth next. Then you've mastered it. Then you've got it. Learn it well enough where if you had to, you can teach it, because in time, as you grow in this business, you're going to need to teach it. Because network marketing in and of itself is not really a sales business. It's a teaching business. It's a teaching business. You're in the leadership development business, and only systems can be taught. Personality cannot be. So I want you to understand as we get into this that it's going to be up to you through repetition. You can learn how to do this business. A lot of times people get involved in this industry and they think, well, I can never do it. Well, if you can learn the words to a song, then you can learn how to do this business. It's no different. There's a lot of you listening to me right now that, the Where's the Beef commercial was so pounded into your mind by Wendy's a few years ago. Now, don't you love their slogan? It's not fast food, it's Wendy's. Yeah, right. It just blows my mind. But, people buying in, it's not fast food, it's Wendy's. Well, where's the beef? There's some of you that you could be on your deathbed, and I could come up, and you could be on your last breath, and I could shake